Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
You're tearing me apart!
What?
You say one thing, he says another, and everybody changes back again!
Very much gonna enjoy this next segment. I enjoy watching hockey when I'm live, quite frankly, but as far as on TV, I don't know, my eyes don't follow it. You know, they did that little fancy thing with the puck for a while, got rid of that. So I'm out golfing, and I meet Seth Topol, and I am so happy to have met him. He is a hockey guy. I said, I need a hockey guy. He said he'd be my guy. Seth, thank you for stepping up and being on the program.
Al, my pleasure. Great to be with you. Excited for hockey season to get going. It's going to be a fun part of the year, and I love talking hockey, so I'm glad to be here.
Let's put some chops down there for you. So not only a lifelong hockey fan, but you actually do the indoor stuff for the Maverick. You're sitting in your Mavericks outfit today. If people are going to watch it on YouTube, you're Mavericks all the time. Great hockey organization up there. That's where I've watched most of my college hockey. You're the announcer there, PA announcer.
Yeah, I do the PA. That is new this year. Stepped into the role to do the football PA and the men's hockey as well. So
good for you.
A great way to just be around the team for all their home games.
All right, I love it. Again, hockey is different live than most other sports. On football, I'd rather watch on TV because I don't need 50,000 people, ask people to get out of my way. I like football on TV. I like hockey live. Is that weird? Is that crazy to say that?
I think you are right where most people are at. It's just It's better live because, you know, like you had mentioned with tracking the puck, the TV camera just focuses on one side of what's going on. There's so much else that happens on the ice. So it's a lot easier to track when you're in person than it is when you're watching on TV.
All right. And when we discuss you discussing hockey, are you up and down the board? Are you going to tell me just about what's going on in the Western Conference, the Central, because that's where Minnesota are? Can you walk me down the list and say, in my opinion, Al, here are the 5 top teams, and that may or may not include the Minnesota Wild. Are you that guy?
I can absolutely be that guy.
All right. Well, then let's start. Eastern Conference. We sit up here. Where obviously some teams are already a game in or so. Who do you like in the East?
You know, one of the teams that I think has been a mainstay that I expect will be in the final conversation this year once again, Tampa Bay Lightning. You know, they've got a great mix of scoring, stingy defense, and I think Andrei Vasilevsky is going to have a great year. The last couple of years haven't been as good for him, but I think he can certainly bounce back. The Florida Panthers, who have been to the Stanley Cup final the last few seasons, obviously they're dealing with some very tough injuries. I think it's going to be hard for them to get back there again this year, which leaves a great opportunity for somebody in the East to supplant.
What's up with that in that Florida and Tampa Bay? I mean, when you first start thinking hockey, you're not thinking Florida and Tampa Bay. But I'm thinking when I look at it, it's like these are kids grown up playing hockey, being cold all the time, year round. Parents take them to indoor rinks. And they're going, I could go play hockey, do my gig, but catch sunshine, 10 months a year. I think that might be a good get. Am I crazy? How do we have Vegas and the rest? How are they getting hockey players, except for the fact that weather means something to these kids?
Well, and the destination, I think, is a huge issue. You think about what is available for these players to do on their off days and in the off season. I know Kirill Kaprizov actually is one of those players that lives in Florida during the off season. So it's a destination for a lot of players, obviously. And I'm not a huge economy guy, but there is the no income tax, which I think factors in as well. For some of these teams. But it's just, and when you start winning consistently, you become a destination for players to go to. Like, I want to go be part of that. And Florida, Tampa Bay, they've done that consistently.
All those teams you brought up were the Atlantic. Is there anybody in the Metropolitan you like to pick for Penguins at all? You like the New York Rangers? And I will tell you 2 things. One is the only other team I really know is the Penguins. My buddy Congressman Jim Hagener was a huge Penguins fan, so he made me watch games until I asked stupid questions and said, get out of here. But it's a whole other thing. And the New York Rangers, of course, Senator Karen Housley's husband, Phil, used to coach there, so we used to talk about them a lot. Any of those guys excite you in that section?
I'm fascinated by the Hurricanes, Al, because it's a
Really?
team that has been, they've been a playoff team for several seasons, but
Okay.
they just have never been able to get to that next level. They run up against Florida or Tampa Bay or some of those teams in the later rounds of the playoffs, and they
Mhm.
always get ousted. At some point, they're going to have to do something to try to get to that next level, and they made some big moves in the offseason. I would imagine they'll be in the conversation again this year, but
Okay.
it's always just fascinating to see, how do you handle being in the playoffs but not being able to get to the Stanley Cup final. They have
Yeah.
been ousted 4 straight years in the second
Wow.
round. So it's
Yeah. Well, fans take that's very Minnesota like. Well, the fans continue to take it. Jump down to the Pacific and the Western Conference. Who is your Western Conference got to watch?
Vegas is at the top
Them.
of the list. The Golden Knights they continue to find ways to cultivate that roster and bring in big players. They brought in Mitch Marner in the offseason. He looked fantastic early on. And, they are a team that they're playoff tested, they're battle tested. The rest of that division, other than Edmonton's kind of up in the air. So I
Okay.
think those are two teams to definitely watch in the West. But I would have to say of the Pacific, I think Vegas takes it.
All right. As a good Minnesota boy, when we go to the Central, you must be with me on this. Minnesota winning 5-0 the other day. That, of course, says that they are undefeated. 82-0 is still in the offing. We have a +5 differential, the largest in all of hockey, meaning, let's be honest, our goaltender so far, Gustafsson, the perfect season. People talk perfect games. He's got the perfect season going on. We should live on this as long as we can. Correct?
I can't find a loss on the schedule as I look at it. So, it was a great start for the Wild because you're finally out of these cap hits with Zach Parise and Ryan Suter, and you got Kirill Kaprizov done. I know it got a little contentious and nerve wracking in the offseason. You got it done. The team was able to kind of put their heads down and get to work, and they come out and they beat one of their big rivals.
So let me ask you this on the Kaprizov thing. I thought he absolutely signaled he wanted out when he turned down 128 million, the largest contract ever given to a guy, right? In hockey. I'm like, what are you doing? Well, first off, give your agent a bonus. He says those words, and a week later he gets another $8 million. So he's at 136, 138, whatever it was. So good for him. And you're playing sports for a living. These are billionaires paying you. I get what you can get. But here's my issue, and I don't know it, and I want you to explain it to me. How much, if you're paying the largest contract out ever, does that hurt salary cap wise to give him people that can get us there? Can one guy on a hockey team get you to the promised land, or do you need to be backfilled? And so what does that do to us? Where are we at there?
Well, I'll answer your first question. One player cannot get you there. Which is why it becomes important for what the Wild have done with the other contracts that they have. Matt Boldy, who I'm really high on this year. I think he has a 40-goal season waiting one of these years. He's making $7 million. He is criminally underpaid based on what he provides as far as value goes. So that's how you get a little bit of that money back. Philip Gustafsson, another guy. Big contract that he signed in the offseason. He's like the 11th highest paid goalie in the league, and he's inside the top 10 as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, sure.
So that's where you start to get some of that value back. But the thing that I'm kind of wondering, Al, is we heard all this talk about, well, Kaprizov's waiting to see kind of what the market does. I think it was the exact opposite. I think the market was waiting to see what he did.
Oh.
And you get that biggest deal ever, and you have to, the Wild have to sweeten it. But it was so weird hearing Craig Leopold say he didn't say no, he just didn't really say yes. It's like money talks, and obviously they got it done by going up to $17 million a year. But I really believe I think he set the market, and now we saw all these deals happen after he signed. Like, he's the one that established it.
I don't deal with that many zeros in my life, but at some point, if you're Kaprizov, you want to skate here. Once you got to 128, to get to 138 was the difference. Seriously, how many? You know what I'm saying? Maybe I don't understand big finance, but at some point, it's like, save the other 10. Give it to those guys. Let's build you know what I'm saying? At some point, you're just never going to spend it.
Yeah, I think he obviously could have gotten by with 16 per. I know there were reports in the offseason that somebody was floating a $20 million per year offer if he got to free agency. So obviously the Wild were going up against that as well. Yeah, I mean, 16,
Let me
17.
okay. Let me ask you this though: if you look at their roster, are we deep enough? I mean, again, I follow only lightly. I will promise to pick it up this year, but Kaprizov goes down, and so did the Stars last year. Are we one lower body injury away from just being mediocre but paying a lot of money? And I'm not just mean him. Are we deep enough to have an injury or two and survive it?
Well, this is where these young kids come in. Like, we have been
Okay.
touting, Wild fans have been touting this prospect system for years. And now they're finally going to get the opportunity to fill some of those spots. And if those kids take those spots and run with it, then that's where you build that depth. I don't be surprised if the Wild try to make a big trade during the season too.
Okay.
That would be a way to get them closer. I'll maintain they're a playoff caliber team for sure.
Yep.
I still think they are a move or two away from being a true cup contender. But they're
Okay.
definitely a playoff caliber team.
So then in that Central, we're playoff a bowl, but we're not going all the way. Who in the Central is the team to watch?
I think Colorado is going to be the toast of the Central this year. They
Right.
just have a great mix. Winnipeg lost some of their depth. I think they are going to be down this year. Dallas, dangerous as ever, but if they suffer any injuries, they have no money to do anything.
Okay.
So I think the Wild will end up fighting for one of those top 3 spots, but Colorado's the team to beat in the Central.
Sounds like a plan. Here's what I like to do: get you on every couple of weeks. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break, if you're okay. Because now that I know you're a college hockey guy, I'm loving this. As we're in, I think 4 of the 5 markets in the state of Minnesota that actually have college teams. Can we talk the college side after this?
Yeah, let's do it.
I've got him. It's Seth on Hockey.
If it's your turn to host a game, Grandpa's Barbecue suggests you try something different. Put out the perfect barbecue flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. Add it to your ribs, dip the meatballs, or drench your wings in the original flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. It isn't too hot or spicy, fruity or smoky or whatever. Grandpa's Barbecue. Available in select stores and online at grandpasbarbecueshop.com.
Do you have a closet full of old videos, photos, slides, or films? Regain that space and preserve those memories for future generations. Visit archivinglifemedia.com or call 952-829-8018. See how safe and simple it is to digitize all your media. Gain peace of mind knowing that all those important memories will be saved and can be seen and shared again. Do it today. Check out archivinglifemedia.com or give them a call, 952-829-8018.
It's nice to know a guy that knows a guy. Al Travis.
We've got him. He's Seth On Hockey, and we're going to talk a little WCHA action for now. Wisconsin, Bemidji State, there's one. Minnesota Duluth, Minnesota State, there's one. Ohio State, St. Cloud State, there's one. And St. Thomas, all those that I said, there's one. That's in a market we're actually playing in as we speak. Not that you have to be a homer for that, but I want you to tell me, when you look at the WCHA and those teams, who are the teams to beat?
You know, I got to give some love to the hometown squad here. Man.
Okay.
I think, you know, even though they lost a bunch, they had a bunch of players that moved, either graduated or transferred. They brought a bunch in, new offense. They've still got one of the best goalies in college hockey in Alex Tracy. That is a great backbone to start with. They bring back the core of that defense that they had from last year's team. So I still think the Mavericks have a chance to really have a great season this year.
Okay.
After a fantastic season last year too.
And who would be the contenders inside that? If you're going to be the homer and say Minnesota State, you like Wisconsin, the Gophers, who would be your second?
I mean, the Gophers are always a perennial power, and so they reload every year. They had a great team last year, just a ton of offense that moved on. But Bob Motzko, former coach at my alma mater, St. Cloud State, I gotta give him the props for being able to continually cultivate talent for that team. So Gophers are definitely one to watch this year too.
And I know St. Thomas is new, right? I mean, was it last year, 2 years ago? They just got into this as a very small school. Have you seen? They're actually ranked. I'm looking at they're ranked 19th. How quickly could they turn that in? I mean, that's amazing for a school 3 years old.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's fantastic that they have been able to do that as quickly as they have. Obviously, they have put together some nice facilities over there, and you know that it's an interesting dynamic now that they are directly competing against like the Gophers for some of those recruits in the Twin Cities. I'm a huge fan of that. Unless they're playing the Mavericks, then I'll be looking at the Mavericks to win. But they are poised for a good year too.
And that's fair enough. Let's just talk. I don't expect to know everything about every college team, but we go to Omaha to start. Does college hockey do kind of the same thing the college football players do? Let's put a couple patsies on the old schedule. Is Omaha going to be tough?
From what I actually talked to Matt Dean yesterday, the voice of the Mavericks, just to kind of get the scene of what's going on. And Omaha in a similar spot to where the Mavericks are at right now. They had a ton of roster turnover themselves, but they kept a top goalie as well. So it should be a fun matchup between the two. But it's you get a couple non-conference teams on the schedule to start. Obviously, a big one next week for Mavericks with Wisconsin. So that's a fun kind of early season test, but it's just all about kind of trying to see what you have.
Okay, and again, like you say, and I don't know everything about hockey, but I know Wisconsin 18th ranked. I don't know what RPI is. You got Omaha and RPI, so maybe you soften that schedule up. But that is, again, Wisconsin and 19th ranked St. Thomas. So you get into it pretty early with hockey. Almost every game really matters, right?
Yeah, it's one of those. It's not like football where it's like 1 week will really set you back, but a series here and there. If you lose a couple games, that can put you behind the eight ball a little bit, but there's some tough opponents right off the bat.
Well, and I don't remember what the name of the standings is. They've got some weird name for that, but the standings, if you're not in the top whatever, you're not playing in the playoffs. It's not like the Gophers, who literally played nobody of first three games. They're halfway to bowl eligible now, the football team, to go to someplace. That's not how it works in hockey. You're either in the finals or you're not, right?
Yeah, and think about this, Al. Just looking at the scores from yesterday, right off the bat, number 4, Penn State lost. Number 1, Western Michigan lost. Number 2, Michigan State lost, and the Gophers lost to Boston College. So there's some parity in college hockey these days. And, you got to be on your A game or you will lose.
That's fair enough. Seth, again, I appreciate getting to meet you on the golf course. He's a heck of a golfer, by the way, because those hockey guys have that kind of swing. Good golfer, and I appreciate you coming on. Let's try to get you on every couple of weeks. We'll catch up on what's going on.
Yeah, sounds great to me, Al.
All right. He's Seth, the voice of hockey here on the Al Travis Show.
If it's your turn to host a game,